Hi, this is Danielle, the Domestic Scientist. Today's video, I'm going to talk about my 60-day journey to creating a faceless YouTube channel. I'm going to talk about what inspired my channel, the advice that I took, my initial launch, and I'm going to provide a 60-day update. So stay tuned. So I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. However, I have certain challenges that I had to take into consideration. The first thing is that I had certain career conflicts, not only myself, but my husband. I had my own personal reservations about being so candid publicly, and I had some privacy concerns to consider. So I was weighing the pros and cons of starting a channel and how I could start a lifestyle channel and do so without showing my face. And one day I got a very unlikely inspiration. So now I'm just going to show you a really quick clip of the Ricky Gervais show. This is what made me think I could do a faceless channel. So he's really funny. He's a comedian and he has two other friends, and they sit down and they have these insane conversations, and it's just absolutely hilarious. So initially they started off in a studio, and I think it was like radio or podcast initially, and then they got a television spot, I believe on HBO. And so what happened is they kind of turned it into an animated podcast. So while they're sitting in the studio, you can see them all sitting around in the studio talking in animated characters. But then something interesting happens when they start going into their funny stories and they're having a lot of imagery being used. Then somebody goes in and animates those type of scenes, and then they cut back to sitting in the studio. So initially when I started my channel, I wanted to talk about different home related things, not just decorating and not just things that you're looking at, but kind of talking about home ownership and the practical side of it. And that's still something that I'm going to get around to doing. You know, I've only been doing it for 60 days. But so my thought process was, oh, okay, I can have some of my friends come on who also have career privacy concerns as well. And we could just animate ourselves and talk and have a good time. And so, you know, we could really cover topics that we want to cover. And then if I want to have, you know, something live in my home, like decorating, I could just do that with the voiceover. So that was kind of my initial thought process going into creating my YouTube channel. And yeah, so it was interesting because I didn't know how to animate. So one of the things that I did was I got again on YouTube to learn how to create an animation. And I honestly thought that it was just going to be so hard, and that because I didn't have that skill set, I was really at a loss for how I could even make that a reality. But one day I was on YouTube and I found this one girl's channel. I can't remember her name, but she was comparing different animation softwares. And because I already knew how to edit video going into it, the animation part actually wasn't that hard. So from watching her on YouTube, I said, oh, I think I can do that. So I got with a program called Vyond and I signed up for the trial. And within like 30 minutes or so, I was making animations because the program was really easy to use. So in this program, you can do whiteboard animations, you can do like a cartoon, so they have different formats that you can use. They have a lot of built-in templates, they have props. And so it was really user-friendly. Now, while I don't think it's probably the best animated platform out there, it was something that I could do, and I could immediately start with whiteboard animations if I wanted to, or I could branch out. And I felt like I had a lot more options with a program like Vyond. So that was kind of how I decided I was going to take my channel. So after coming up with the concept for my channel and kind of a delivery method, I then turned back to YouTube to get some advice on actually the things I needed to do to start my channel. So I had watched a ton of videos. Some were very helpful, some were not. Some just gave a lot of repeat information. But there are a couple of big pieces of information I think that was out there. The first piece of big information that I got was to just start your channel. Like, don't delay on it. Don't think you have to have everything perfect and all together. If you have a camera and you have a way to edit and you've got some sort of microphone, go ahead, start making videos. And part of the reason why you want to do that is because then you want to look at your analytics and let it drive your channel a little bit. So if you're doing something, the analytics will let you know if you're being successful or not. So if you put out your first video and nobody looks, you got to keep tweaking it until you get a winning combination. So in a sense, it is like a big experiment. So that was the first thing that I thought was very helpful. And I said, okay, I'm definitely definitely going to do that. The other thing is I wanted to try to name my channel something that wasn't going to box me into just doing lifestyle. I wanted it to be open enough that I could put a spin on it and unique enough that people will remember it, because there are just so many content creators out there, a lot more from when I first started watching YouTube. So the next piece of advice that I got from watching YouTube videos about how to start my channel, and this is probably one of the biggest things, and it is so true on so many levels, and that is pick content that you like. YouTube is an all-consuming experience. If you're doing it full-time or you're just starting out your channel, you can spend hours upon hours upon hours working on your channel, and you can spend all day. If you let it, it will consume you. So you want to make sure that you're doing it on a topic that you like, something that's not going to make you bored. And take it from a person who, you know, has a degree in chemistry and worked for a couple years in it and couldn't stand it and was like, I don't want to spend another day of my life doing this. I left the field and never turned back. But if you are really into something, you can spend the 14, 15, 16, 18 hours, however many hours that it takes for you to complete a project, and it doesn't bother you because you are absolutely passionate about what you do. And when you're passionate, that does come through in your videos and in your work. And I would say that if you're going to be a faceless channel, you have to be even more so passionate, because people can't read your facial expressions. All they have is the footage that you have on the screen and your voice. And so if that isn't translating, you're just not going to get people interested in what you have, because a lot of the connection that you make through YouTube is through watching that person. And I can say the channels that I watch the most, where I feel the most connected to what's going on in those YouTubers' lives and where I comment the most, those are the ones where people are actively on camera. Because I have certain personal constraints, I already am starting off my channel knowing that that's something that I need to overcome. So I for sure am not going to pick a subject that I'm just not passionate about, because I don't think that that's going to help my cause or anybody's for that matter. So I would definitely say that is one of the biggest pieces of advice, to do something that you're passionate about. So once I poured over all of this fantabulous advice, I went ahead and started my channel. And I started my channel off with 2 videos that were Vyond or animation based videos, where I talked about how I named my YouTube channel. So my animated character was there talking, and then I talked about how to actually create a character in Vyond. So those 2 came about from the fact that I was still learning how to use it. And so because I was going to spend so much time in the platform, I just went ahead and made a video about it, because I was already spending so much time getting acclimated to the software. But what wound up happening with those 2 videos is that I didn't get a lot of views. And actually, they're some of my worst viewed videos even now. But the other thing is, it was so time consuming. So while I found the program easy to use, it was a lot harder than doing any other kind of shoot. And I was honestly very discouraged. But I went ahead with some of the lifestyle aspects of the things that I like on my channel, which is why I'm the domestic scientist. So I did a shopping haul and an unboxing video. And those were not well received either. And so I was really discouraged in the beginning, and I kept trying different ways of doing it. So I tried to pull back from the animation and put some more live feeds of the things I was doing in. I tried to do a hybrid of something that was partially animated, and then I had like my actual footage from me in my house doing things without my face showing. And I have to tell you, like, when you look at my early videos, I'm constantly tweaking, and you can really see the progression. So I would start off with maybe an animated intro, and I just was not getting views that way. I talked about doing a microgreen salad. So I thought, okay, you know, microgreens are like a really hot thing right now. And I had started growing them anyway. So I said, ooh, let's make a video from that. And that also was not well received. And so I was very discouraged. I wasn't about to quit, but I was very discouraged. I'll have to say that. And then I tried a product review. Now, I only did the product review as a part of another project that I was doing, but I put it out there. And of course, I didn't have a lot of views. I did another haul video, and I did a dining room tour, and still those were not well reviewed as well. So at that point, I was like, I don't think people are getting the concept. Now, the other thing that I did not see anybody give advice on were all these YouTube advice channels, which I would say is a big piece of advice. You need a focus group. So my early videos, I had different friends who were watching my videos specifically to give me feedback, because, you know, we live in different parts of the country. And so putting it on YouTube YouTube was a platform for them to be able to look at it and say what they thought I should do differently. So my focus group was a big part of helping me to develop my content and giving me ideas and helping me think outside of the box. But in all of that, that still, I was not getting a lot of views. And when I mean I wasn't getting a lot of views, I was happy to have 5 views on my early videos. And this was within the first, 10, 15 days or so. But every time I kept on trying to tweak it. So my breakthrough came when I happened to be on YouTube looking for something else. I actually, even though this wasn't what I started my channel doing, and I knew I was going to eventually do it on my channel, I didn't know that there was a whole market for this, which is crazy for me because I had been on YouTube for so long. But I really love my dining room, and I'm one of those people that, like, because my dining room is in the front of the house, it is just a special place for me. When I was young and I would see these fancy model homes and stuff, they would always have these beautifully decorated dining rooms, and I said one day I'm going to be able to have a nice house, and I'm going to have a nice table, and I'm going to keep it decorated in the front of my house. So I happened to be looking for a tablescape video for the purpose of doing one. So I was looking for ideas to do my own video, and that's when I found a collaboration. I had never heard of an open invite collaboration. So for me, I'm thinking all these people are giving all this advice about starting your channel, and I had no idea. So I found the first one called It's a Summer Affair, and it was coming up in a few days. So by the time I saw the open invite, I had maybe 2 days to shoot a video and get it together. But I ran around my house. I had already done a coastal tablescape in my previous home. I just unpacked that stuff, put it on the table, shot the video, and from there my channel started taking off a little bit more. So I went from like 5 subscribers, which, was really sad. Some of them were pity subscriptions, I know, and maybe 5 views, and that was mostly everybody on my focus group, to actually having other people join my channel and other people watching who I didn't already know before coming in. And the collaborations based on the analytics, it opened up a whole nother world for me. And the best part is, it's what I like to do the most, because I'm not a decorator. I do like my house to be decorated. I don't have interior designer money. And so I'm always looking for how can I do this better and get the look that I want without spending money, or at least without spending a lot of money. And so I've always been into that type of content. But my favorite part about the house was the dining room, which is an area I think most people don't focus on. And so I found that there are these groups that do all these type of videos. And so I started participating, and that really helped grow my channel. Now, I've only been in it for 60 days. So kind of where I am is I have 135 subscribers, and for me, that's been a lot since the beginning. It was so awful. But I still have a very long way to go. So now let's take a moment to just give a quick recap. When you have come up with your concept for your channel, go ahead and assemble a small focus group of people who are invested in watching your videos and giving you really specific feedback about all of your delivery methods and kind of how they are interpreting it. Go ahead and launch your channel and put the videos out step by step, as few or as many as you want to release, but be sure after every release that you're setting your analytics and making some minor adjustments along the way. Now, this doesn't mean you have to abandon your original concept, but maybe you have to tweak the way in which you deliver it. So I started off being a lifestyle channel, and I still am a lifestyle channel, but the way I'm presenting that and the vehicles I'm using has changed. The next thing that you really should do is find or create a niche collaboration group. If there isn't already one out there, you can start an open invite. You may or may not get that many participants getting started, but it would be great if you could find a group of people who like the same type of content where you can kind of work together. That feedback from those other people with the same content is also incredibly helpful. And more than that, it is super motivating to keep you going, because there are times where you might easily get discouraged from low view counts in the beginning. So this is part 1 of my update on starting my faceless channel. I will do a 90-day and 120-day update, as well as a 150-day update. So be sure to subscribe and check back next month to see how I've progressed so far. So today's video, because I follow my own advice, is a part of a collaboration, and the hosts for the Mastermind Influencers team are at Penny's Place, Grandma Sandy, Creatively Miss Me with Stephanie, Renters Live Luxury by Ian, and Ditzy Dits. There'll be a link to each of the host channels in the description box below, as well as a link to the playlist. Be sure to stop by and check out the host channels and the playlist and support these other YouTubers who are also growing their channel. As always, I'm Danielle, the Domestic Scientist. I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think of my video today. And if you have any other tips that might be helpful for starting a faceless channel, be sure to leave it in the comment box below. I will see you next time.